President-elect Bola Tinubu and the Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima have described the application by Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party for a live broadcast of proceedings as frivolous and a bid to waste the court's time. Is it your time? Is it your court? In a May 5th appeal, the PDP and Atiku argued that televising the court proceedings would increase transparency and promote citizens' faith in the judicial process. They expressly asked the court for an order directing the court's registry and the parties on processes for admission of media practitioners and their equipment into the courtroom in their application for a live telecast of the court proceedings. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), in its counter affidavit filed earlier, prayed the court to reject the application by Atiku and his party. However, Tinubu and Shettima on Monday urged the Presidential Election Petition Court to dismiss the application, noting that the court is not a soap bus, stadium or theater where the public should be entertained. With much respect to the petitioners, the motion is an abuse of the processes of this honorable court, the respondents stated. This was contained in a joint response filed on Monday by their team of lawyers led by Chief Wole Olanipekun, stressing why a petitioner desirous of a prompt hearing would file an application intended solely to distract the court and waste its precious time. According to the Nation, they argued that the relief sought by the application are not such that the court could grant. Stated in the counter affidavit that the application states relates the policy formulation on the court, which is outside the PEPC's jurisdiction as constituted. The application also touches on the powers and jurisdiction invested in the President of the Court of Appeal by the Constitution, over which this honorable court as presently constituted cannot entertain. The application touches on the administrative functions which are exclusively reserved for the President of the Court of Appeal. The application is aimed at dissipating the precious judicial time of this honorable court. The said application does not have any bearing with the petition filed by the petitioners before this honorable court. It is in the interest of justice for this honorable court to dismiss the said application filed by the petitioners, they said. In an attempt written address, the respondents foretold the applicant's reference to the fact that virtual proceedings were allowed during the COVID-19 pandemic. They argued that Atiku and his party failed to draw the court's attention to the fact that practice directions were made by the respective courts for the exercise. They also noted that it was only the heads of courts rather than individual judges or justices who drafted the practice directions. Another angle to this very curious application in the invitation it extends to the court to make an order that it cannot supervise. The position of the law remains, and we do submit that the court, like nature, does not make an order in vain or an order which is incapable of enforcement, the respondent stated. Tinubu and Shettima added, at the very best, this application is academic, very odious, very unnecessary, very time-wasting, most unusual and most unexpected, particularly from a set of petitioners who should be praying for the expeditious trial of their petition. Petitioners have brought their application under Section 36 of 3 of the Constitution, which provides that the proceedings of a court tribunal shall be heard in public. The word public, as applied under Section 36(3) of the Constitution, has been defined in plethora of judicial authorities to mean a place where members of the public have unhindered access, and the court itself sitting behind open doors, not in camera. Even in situations where a class action is presented, the particular people constituting the class being represented by the plaintiffs or petitioners are always defined in the originating process. Here, in this application, the public at whose behest this application has been presented is not defined, not known, not discernible. Beyond all this, It is our submission that the court of law must and should always remain what it is, what it should be, and what it is expected to be: a serene, disciplined, hallowed, tranquil, honorable, and decorous institution and place. It is not a rostrum or a soap boss. It is not also a stadium. It is not a stadium or theater. It is not an arena for public entertainment. With much respect to the petitioners, the motion is an abuse of the processes of these honorable courts. I don't understand why these people are just hmm, why they are fidgeting. When I hear, well, you should be telling us that the devil is so smart. At the end of the day, what does he give you? Can you imagine? Okay, the guilty are afraid. Look at this APC. Must you object any good suggestion? You really have skeleton in your cupboard. We need to hear the proceedings, I beg. If you won fair and square, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What is the problem in airing the court proceedings? I don't understand. What are they afraid of? What of Tinubu? Is he more desperate than other contestants? That's why he said Emilokon during his campaign. He was busy insulting people all the time. Very arrogant man. He will never be our president. He's a Yoruba Agbero president. Manipulation will be your portion. Hi. He is trying to hide the truth from the people. Simple as ABC. I know Tinubu in APC will be the only ones to object live broadcast because they would be exposed to the world on how they rig the elections. Shame to them. So is court a secret court shrine? Nice questions. This is really laughable. The unity and integration of this country lies on the shoulders of the Nigeria judiciary. Now, so let the judiciary know that if anything goes wrong in this tribunal, they will be accountable to it. Mahmoud has sold his soul to the devil, which is receiving his penalty now. He may be living, but deep inside, he is dead man walking. So I advise judiciary to uphold the mandate of hope Nigerians and refuse to compromise. Last hope of common Nigerians is on judiciary. May God help us. Oh my God. Why won't you oppose it? Because you know you never won the election. The world is watching how long the truth will be covered. The court has the right to overrule. But this is the national issue and Nigerians are supposed to be carried along on the day preceding. After all, we have more than enough to do it. Their hands, they are not clean. That is it. You should be worried that when these guys are sworn in, okay, you expect bidi bidi.